What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 65 of the XtraSlice, brought to you by the Cheesy Controller Podcast. I'm your host, Anton OlliOlli LaPlatte. Joining me, as always, we have the Mayor of Stardew Valley and Eorzea, Chris Montalbano.
I'm out here doggo drifting now.
We got the most degenerate squid in the sea, Jalen Roberts.
I'm not saying my hammer can fly, but it can fly.
And we got the Akatsuki Durag, Madrid Devon.
You know what it is.
And joining us once again for a very special appearance on the XtraSlice, we have the coolest guy on the podcast, Josh Jones.
Full Metal Alchemist.
We got a jam-packed episode for you guys this week. We're going to be talking about OlliOlli World. We're going to be talking about Never Yield, Pacman 99, Final Fantasy XIV patch 5.5, and the PS5 firmware update, amongst other things. So, Josh, how you been, man?
Been doing all right, my guy. You know what I'm saying? Glad to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's been a
much
while.
requested.
I haven't seen y'all in a while. Haven't been on the camera in a while. Spoken to y'all, man. It's a good time.
Yeah, that was one of the things when you stopped showing up on episodes. Everybody's like, hold up. Like, we change shit all the time and nobody says anything. But it was like, where's Josh? Like, we miss Josh.
That's surprising. Cause like for a minute there, like my PS4 was busted, so it was like I didn't really have any gaming updates. So I was just like, hooping in the background. But that's surprising to hear.
Yeah, people were like, that was one of the things. Back by popular demand, we got you back. With the Tumblr energy.
Steady with it.
Happy to fucking have you back.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you said your PS4 was busted for a little while. Did you get another one? Because I've been seeing you online lately. Like, what's been going on in your gaming world lately?
So, one day, all of a sudden, when you really want to play something, I can't remember what I was about to play. It was either like, at the time, it was either like Persona or like Red Dead. I was like, you know what? I'm about to put in like 8 hours. Right now, we about to go. But then I turned it on, and then all of a sudden, nothing loaded up. Like I couldn't get anywhere. It's like, so I had to figure out that it was some type of hard drive error. But I eventually got it fixed. I was out the game for a while, but I eventually got it fixed, and I'm happy to be back. I didn't get a new one. They basically just replaced the hardware, and I had to just like reboot everything in there. But
okay.
What was the first thing? I think the first thing that I felt like I had a responsibility to load was probably something like, what did I play? I think it was Persona. I think I got Persona first thing back. I got a bunch of other things in there, but I think the first thing was like, all right. I was on like the last boss on Persona before it broke. So now I knew I had to go all the way back from scratch. That was like the first thing I had to do.
Damn.
So you didn't have PlayStation Plus?
I did though. But they had to remove like the all the memory. So it's just like everything had to be just like wiped clean.
Oh.
So
Well, yeah. And I mean, you could set this up now, but if you have PlayStation Plus, you can have it that every time you put it into rest mode, it'll auto update. Like it'll put all your saves into the cloud.
Oh boy.
And then, so even if you just like completely lose your system, or like when I went from PS4 to PS5, I put all my saves up in the cloud, and now anytime like I've been going back to like some really old games, I can just pull my save down from the cloud and pick up like games that I haven't played in years. My saves are just up there in the cloud and safe no matter what.
Yeah,
so.
I wish I would have did that. I mean, really, the only I wanted to go back and play like the full thing of Persona anyway, but like I had to go through Fallout all over it again, and I hate like the first like 40 hours of Fallout. Like it's cool, but it's just like I just going through it again is like I really don't want to do these missions again. But
Oh yeah, I feel that.
I think the next thing I got was like one game that I've wanted to have for a very long time, but at the time when it came to PS4, I think around that time it wasn't working. But Cuphead. I finally got Cuphead, and it's just like everything that I wanted. It was everything. It was actually everything. It was hard. It was like hard as fuck. It was aesthetic as fuck. Like the art of it was like amazing. It was flawless. Mm-hmm. I was like, yes, I wanted a game that had this style that was like a flawless execution of this style. Like everything about it about that old style 1920s cartoon. Like I love that art style, but in a game that followed the cartoon so very specifically. Because I even like I like that style enough to like research like the different studios that were making those cartoons. Like there's some like if you notice like some old 20s and 30s cartoons, some of them look different. You can tell, but like the studio that made them, like MGM versus Disney versus another studio. And so like I was a big fan of the specific studio of that style that they did because it was flawless. It was flawless to like the art that they did. So I was playing that for a while. It was 100%. It's hard. It's just hard. It's just hard as fuck. Even like how they're able to like, you can only have like a certain like power up at a time. So like you can collect a bunch, but I think it's like you can only have like 3 different types of moves, but like a different types of moves for just depending on like what stage you're on, whatever. But like going through it every single level is just like it's challenging, but just challenging enough where I can get through it if you're just nice enough, and that's what I love about it. Like I like a game. Sometimes you just love a game that'll be like, are you really good enough to play this game? And you have to prove yourself to it.
Well, yeah. So, did you beat it, or are you?
It got to. It's the thing about those games. They get frustrating as fuck, and so you got to put it down. So I guess that I haven't played it. Actually, I haven't played it in a while, but I'll pick it up. I'll pick it up. Actually, I like. It's weird. Like my niece is actually kind of good at that game. It's weird. She's like 3 years old, and for some reason, she's like. I let my niece and my nephew play it because it's old style cartoon. It's the only game I have that is like non-violent. My sister was like, "Yeah, what's a regular game that you have that's on there?" It's like, "Yeah, they can play Cuphead." And my niece was like actually shaking and getting folks, and she's like 3 years old. So that's it's cool. Just like it's in my nephew. He's like super into gaming and stuff like that. So it was like nice to see like them trying to play, and then my niece, she's like a young prodigy, like just like actually at a game that's actually just hard as shit. Like she's somewhat like okay with it.
Introduce her
the
to
two things.
Dark Souls.
no Dark Souls.
She's like 4. Her next birthday, I'll put her on Dark Souls.
The 2 things I want to tell you about, because I know a lot of times you'd come in and be talking about something, and we'd have to like fill you in on like the industry news around it.
Oh yeah.
So 2 things with Cuphead. Netflix is doing a Cuphead cartoon.
Yes.
I think that was supposed to be a 2021 joint, but with COVID, who knows what's going on. And then,
they could announce that shit, be like, "Yeah, this shit's coming in.
This shit's gonna slap
next week."
Right, that is the thing.
Or it could be next year.
And their animation lately, like the stuff has just been coming out. So
like Netflix, how'd you get this done? They're just like, wait for the fan of money. Don't worry about it.
How'd you get this?
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. Don't worry about it.
And the other thing is Cuphead's getting DLC. So it's the delicious last course, and they're adding Lady Chalice as a playable character.
Wow, that's very nice. Very nice.
So those are the 2 things Cuphead centric that it's good you knew about the cartoon, because it seems like it's going to be more kid focused. But if you were already into like the animation style and like the methods they use, they're going to keep doing that in a show format, so it's not a game where it's as hard to do it. And with your niece and nephew, it's something you can watch with them if they're already feeling Cuphead as like a property.
It's gonna be cool. I'm hoping it's just as creepy as the game, because it takes when the boss goes like there's always just like multiple modes for the boss, but when it gets deeper into the modes, it just gets like
third
creepier
phase
and creepier.
is always like. I know, like in the beginning of Cuphead, you're fighting like the blue dude with the things, and eventually once you get to his 3rd phase, you're fighting his tombstone.
Yeah,
like
it gets like those, because like those that was back then, like that style was back when like cartoons were like for adults. Like at the time, were like before like they started selling toys, like those like cartoons were really for like adults to go to the theater. So it goes. It's like they can do like a little darker themes. I'm hoping to keep that with the TV show. If it's for kids, that's fine. But it's just like I hope they still keep it.
I think they'll stick true to that style, because there's a lot of people who liked Cuphead for what it was doing. So I think it would also appeal to people who bought the game and played the game because of the style of the game, I think they'd keep some of that stuff. They do like a Pixar, where it's like, there's stuff in here that the kids aren't going to catch. That's for adults, but yeah, I could see, especially under Netflix, them having a good balance of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so outside of Cuphead, what else have you been playing? You were talking to us earlier. You said you got into a Final Fantasy. Which one of the multiple Final Fantasies grabbed you?
So I saw that I was like Final Fantasy VII remake. It's up. You can just get it. I'm like, I've never played a Final Fantasy before, but I'm just like, it's, I can just grab it real quick. Whatever. I grabbed it, and before I started playing it, I had it on a list. Like, it was just on a list. I'm just like, all right, the first thing I did is like, all right, I'm gonna finish Persona. Did that, played a little bit of Fallout, and then I got to Final Fantasy VII. I started it, and I was just like, okay, all right, this is cool. This is fun. All right, this is all right. And then the deeper you get, like the more you get into like the soundtracks that are playing, the story, what's going on, and the actual how to fight. And what you're able to build, and like the more characters that you get in, it's just got more and more to the point where it's like, this is probably my favorite game right now. Like it's very like I feel like I missed out on a lot. Like, it made me want to go back and see like a playthrough. At the very least, like a playthrough of the original PS1 version of Final Fantasy VII. But like that game style and what you're able to do and everything that's in it. I fucking love this shit. Like, this is I was like, man, this is so fucking good. Like, this shit, Final Fantasy VII remake is so fucking good. Like, it's everything that I want, and they do it well. That's the thing about this game. It's like, I don't know, like, I guess like when I get games, I'm always scared that I'm not gonna like it. It's like, oh man, this kind of sucks. Like, I don't really like this as much. I have to get used to it. There's nothing I have to get used to in this game. It's like everything I like about playing games, they put into this game. Like, it's just like, yes, thank you for doing this. It's like just enough, custom, just enough that you can customize, but not like too much. Where it's just like, okay, you can really just do whatever. But if you want to fine tune this, then you can. Just enough strategy of like items, or like how many items I needed this, I needed that. Side quests, they're long enough where it's like, okay, I can do like a whole bunch of different other shit before I even continue the story. Like, they add, even to the point of, I guess, like, I'm kind of glad that the first, like, RPG that I've, like, really gotten into was, like, Persona 5 as, like, a starting point of, like, where to go. And then the next one, I think it was like Persona 5, and then I got some in the Pokemon. It's like, okay, this is cool. It's similar. There's a lot of things that, not the same, but it's like, it's very similar. And playing this and seeing how much of like the entire genre, because I'm still new to the genre. Like, I only played like 2 games within like JRPGs of like turn-based combat. I'm still only like 2 games deep.
Right.
So getting into this and seeing how much of like all the other elements are like ingrained into this, like it's more so. It's more so like you're just gonna be finding this other person. It's it's still kind of button mashing, but you can still like do some strategy of like elements and fire and magic and like moves and stuff like that. So like seeing like you can even get like a special
that combat, it's
like a monster or like you can call upon a persona or whatever and just like, yo, cast my monster and he's gonna fuck you up for me. And then at the same time getting your moves off, like it's like I love it. Like I love this game. Like I feel like
how far are you?
Balls deep, to be honest. I like
yes sir.
So like,
yes sir.
I'm right now where I think what happened. So we just got Aerith back. Like I probably just got off the highway after the entire arc of getting Aerith back. Like I'm on the highway fighting that big tank thing on the highway. It's the big motorcycle scene, and then I just finished that.
Oh my god. Yo, I died so many times on that shit.
The motorcycle,
yeah,
it's not my favorite. Like
that shit was. I was like, come on.
It's kind of formulaic, but it's just like I'm not really enjoying this as much as anything else. Like it's almost like the water levels on Crash, where it's just like I can get through it.
The motorcycle's fine. It was that boss battle.
I didn't like it as much as the rest of the gameplay.
Yeah,
but
like it was really the boss battle I didn't fuck with. I was like, yeah, I don't like this.
All right. So the two things I want to pitch in your direction, just off of this conversation, the original Final Fantasy VII playable on PS4 is $16, and I know it regularly goes on sale. So if you just want to kind of see, because it sounds like you're still
version?
Yeah. Ooh. So yeah, like
it's worth trying it out.
And it has like built-in cheat codes. Like they give you like a thing where it's like you can speed up like your traversal speed, you can speed up like your limit break bar, you can speed up your leveling. It's like built-in stuff like that it's like if you're just trying to experience it and like see it, you can just turn on all those cheats and just fly through the game. So that I wanted to let you know.
I used the fuck out of fast forward.
Yeah,
you need that shit, honestly. Yeah.
If I were to play that, I think I would want to just like kind of like speed run it.
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
if I've seen the story before, I'd want to speed run it. But
the stories, that's the thing, they flesh out in Remake, because I'm about halfway through Remake. And so, just what I've played, based on what I played of the original 7, they're whole characters that it's like they have one line in the PS1 thing, and they have a whole story arc in the remake.
Oh,
and so
that's cool.
So, and then the remake only goes up to the end of like the first story arc of the game. So we're still waiting on like parts.
Wasn't that like one of them 2-disc games?
Yeah, it's 3 discs for Final Fantasy VII originally, and I don't even think you make it off the first disc in the Final Fantasy VII remake that's out now.
Wow, that's a long fucking game.
Well, that's the thing is 7 remake fleshes out a lot of this stuff. So original Final Fantasy VII, if you like mainline it, is like 40 hours. 7 remake is like 40 hours. So that's how much they build on top of and change. And
just the first arc.
Yeah. So I could see this being like a 4-part series of the remake. So
yeah,
I'm
needs that, especially on that PS5 architecture.
Whew.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm waiting. June. They're doing a PS5 upgrade for Final Fantasy VII remake.
That's going to be.
And they're doing
June.
That's
June.
All right,
that's when I'm gonna start.
It's already.
That's when I'm gonna start searching. It's time.
Well, yeah, and I'm just waiting on it because right now, like Final Fantasy XIV just got its PS5 upgrade, and a couple other things that I've been waiting on are like on the horizon on getting their PS5 upgrade. So, and Monster Hunter's just been eating all my fucking time. But the other thing I wanted to tell you about is if you are starting to see the framework of a JRPG and you're starting to really enjoy it, Yakuza Like a Dragon is probably oh my god.
I see a lot of Yakuza like there's on basically like on everything like everybody's Yakuza seems like it's pretty popular. It seems like something that I could probably get into.
Well, yeah, Yakuza. So it's Yakuza 0 and then 1 through 6 are like one style. They're kind of like the Streets of Rage. They're like brawlers, but in 3D. So you're like fighting in a convenience store and like in the streets of Japan. But for the newest Yakuza, Like a Dragon, like all of those focused on like one cast of characters. So it was like 7 solid games of focusing on from the 80s to like current time of this one set of characters. But then this other one is a completely different cast of characters, and they announced it as a April Fool's Day joke where they're like, since Sega bought Atlas and now owns Persona, we're gonna make Yakuza Persona. And that's what Like a Dragon is. It is straight up a turn-based JRPG in Yakuza, and it is as like, Yakuza's known for being really over the top and ridiculous, but, like, the dude went to prison for 18 years and was, like, obsessed with Dragon Quest. So when he got out of prison, like, all the battles he's going through, he's framing the entire world through the lens of a JRPG. And when I tell you, bro, like, this game is something fucking special. Every time I play this game, it's just so fucking good. Like...
Interesting. Yes.
Yeah, I'd say look at, like, reviews of Like a Dragon, and all of the reviews that I saw complained about, like, the end game and, like, it being kind of grindy, but I'm like, that's JRPGs in a nutshell. Like, at a certain point, you're going to have to grind. So,
yeah, it's inevitable.
But, yeah, as far as the story and the characters and, like, the mechanics, it straight up plays like Persona 5, but in, like, modern-day Japan, in, like... It's like one of your summons is like you pull out your smartphone and you summon like this giant crawfish that like it's it has so much going on in the game, and I'm only like 5 or 6 hours into it at this point, but when I tell you just the things that it's done, and I know a lot of this isn't really like specific to this Yakuza, because I was watching a stream of somebody playing Yakuza 6, which has, like, the brawler combat, like, the real-time, more, like, active combat. A lot of the same stuff is in the other Yakuza games, but it's just a lot of these touchstones of, like, the ridiculous side of Japanese culture. Like, the things that I love about it are the fact that it's, like, it's this serious story about this dude who went to prison, took a fall for this guy who killed somebody in Japan, and all of this stuff. And then on the other side, it's, like... You're arguing with homeless people over the last piece of fish. And so...
Oh, man. Yeah, that sounds like everything that I want to play.
Yeah, like, that's one thing, like, now that you're starting to see the framework of JRPGs, I think a really good, like, modern, contemporary JRPG that, like, learns from that framework, but also puts it in a context that's really, like, interesting and modern is Yakuza Like a Dragon. So,
yeah.
I know Madrid has access to it, but he hasn't given it a shake yet. I can't wait for Madrid to play that game and just come back to the podcast, like, fucking crestfallen over how amazing that game is.
Maybe I'll play it tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get... I'd say play until you get out of prison. And then you'll have enough of a taste to make you keep coming back.
So you're saying I'm going to be institutionalized?
Oh.
Is that what you're implying, Anton?
I mean, you know, the Japanese criminal defense system seems to work a little bit better. And he actually, you know... Well, he didn't actually do... what he went to jail for, but...
So not better.
Well, he took the fall. It was like an honor thing. He was like, look, the boss asked him to do it, and the boss had saved his life. And so he's like, look, man, you've been working for me for this long. I need somebody to take the fall. And the guy who actually did it, I can't afford for him to take the fall, because if he takes the fall, the whole fucking family goes under, and...
It's a whole ass thing.
I mean, yeah, it's a whole ass fucking... Yeah, there's a baby in a locker. It's a whole fucking thing.
I saw that scene. That shit was wild.
Yeah.
That sounds absolutely ridiculous, and I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So...
That shit's real.
Yeah. All right, so Chris,
Yo.
I wanted to talk to you, because I know I haven't seen Jalen play, and I've been on like crazy. I've put probably like 10 hours in the last 2 days into it, but Final Fantasy XIV got its PS5 upgrade and its patch 5.5.
Woo.
So this is the last patch before Endwalker, right?
Yep.
Or is there one more before Endwalker?
I'm pretty sure this is the last patch. They normally stop around this number.
Yeah, they either do 5. They'll do whatever 0.5, and then they might do 0.55 or 5.6, but just judging by the content I've gotten through, like working my way through post-game Realm Reborn and post-game Heaven's Horde, and like now being in Stormblood, it seems.
I think
my estimate is we might get maybe one more before Endwalker.
I think we might get like another patch that does for the actual Shadowbringers raid, not the Alliance raid, but the like Eden raid. And they might like mainstream it to where people can actually start getting the armor before Endwalker comes out, so you can have like all that prepped. But other than that, I don't think it's like big content that's going to come out like this patch is.
Okay, so Jawan's saying there's going to be a part 2 patch.
Like a big ass part 2 patch.
And I mean, we could wait for him to answer that, but
I'm just like based on what. The last 2 expansions, even Endgame Realm Reborn wasn't even this big so far.
Yeah, it seems like Shadowbringers has really just been going all the way the fuck out with all of this stuff. And I'm really ready to get to Shadowbringers because...
All about Shadowbringers is just fucking good.
So... I mean, what have you noticed as far as, because I don't know how much you've run, like, all the stuff that I've run, like, the only noticeable difference, I've noticed the warrior improvements they've given. Like, warrior got a buff this patch.
Oh.
And so...
It was pretty much, there was a lot of tank buffs. There was a dragoon buff and a monk buff. But, like, I play casters, and
you guys were left alone?
Yeah. I mean, we're already OP as fuck. Like, one of the top DPS in the game, so they don't really need to touch that. And then the other one I play can heal and raise, so he's tight. Yeah, I don't think Caster's got anything. From what that ridiculous ass video that Madrid posted yesterday, that was like of animes and what class got its buff.
Patch 5.5.
Did y'all understand that better than I did? Because I was looking at it, I was like, huh.
Even when they started showing the charts, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's happening right now. I definitely did understand, like, the Attack on Titan stuff. But, yeah, every time they'd pull out a chart, I was like, I don't know what the fuck's...
I don't know what they're talking about.
Because I had, like, the patch notes open in a different tab, and I'm like, I don't... These charts aren't even in the patch notes, so where the fuck are they getting these charts from?
I did think it was, I think Scholar got 100 less MP cost for Secor or whatever it's called. And we were playing the Alliance raid for the roulette yesterday, and someone forgot about that, and they just like, oh shit, it cost me 100 less, and like, eventually went in and figured it all out because I didn't actually know any character changes were happening. That's just kind of funny.
Right. Yeah, we definitely were in that Alliance raid. So with me getting upgraded to the PS5 version, it has a separate trophy list. Mm-hmm. And so I started off, I just tested it out. First of all, it's crispy as fuck. Like, when I say this is the best Final Fantasy XIV has looked in all of my time playing it, like, it looks really good. Like, the entire UI is in crisp 4K. The, like, character models look a little... Like, it's not, like, drastically as far as, like, the gameplay stuff. Drastically on a different level. But it is as far as, like, just the overall experience. A next-gen thing, you know? It feels like we're at least on parity with what people on high-end PCs are playing. Mm-hmm. And so that feels really good. It has haptic feedback, which is really interesting. Like, the way they've implemented...
Cool as fuck.
Yeah, you can feel your mount's footsteps and stuff like that. So all of that's really cool to see.
Can you feel like your attacks being cast or like your spells?
No, because they said they didn't want to break your focus in, like, high-end content.
That makes sense. Because when you're running your rotation, you don't need like a bunch of controller.
Like
just
the last
going
thing
all
you
the
need
way
is your
off.
controller going in your hands while you're doing like a raid level rotation. So
I would like to have that option.
Yeah, and they said they'd take feedback. So, like, they did a whole, like, interview on the PlayStation blog the day before the patch dropped, talking about how they handled transitioning from PS4 to PS5. And, like, all the icons, they put through, like, an AI thing to up-res them. Because they're like, we didn't have time to go through and do individual art for every ability, every spell, every item, every piece of armor, every piece of, like... They didn't have time to go through and edit every single icon in that game, so they ran them all through this AI upscaling thing, and it looks fucking good.
I'm wondering why they would try to change the icons, considering
they're not changed
on 14.
Is your HUD 4K?
Yeah, everything's 4K.
Okay, well, I mean, this is just going off of what they said in the interview, but...
Right.
Yeah, I'll say if you're... Yeah, I played 100-something hours of it, the PS4 version on PS5, running it at the highest resolution, highest frame rate, like best fidelity, got my like text scaling and everything right so I could read it because...
200.
No, 150, because I sit this far away from the screen.
I put it at 150. Mine's still too small at 150.
Oh no, I can see everything I need to see, and it's not too big. That I felt like 200 was starting to get to the point that certain things are getting too big. But I mean, you got options.
That's true.
Play your way. But yeah, I mean, Chris, have you done any of the 5.5 content? Because I haven't. I'm still in Stormblood, getting towards the end of that. Judging, I was like, it'd probably take me 2 days to finish Stormblood yesterday, and with the amount of progress I made today, I think probably, depending on how much time I get to play tomorrow, I'll be able to at least finish base Stormblood and maybe take a detour into getting the Monster Hunter stuff.
It's quick, it's fast, it's fun.
Oh yeah, I'll just run that duty over and over. What is it? Is it a dungeon? Is it a...
It's a trial.
It's a trial? Oh, even fucking... Oh, shit. Yeah.
You get...
And now that I have context of how easy trials go by, yeah.
I mean, we do the... So what the one you're probably going to want is because you're going to want the Rathalos Scale Plus. And then that's when you have to do... that Rathalos Savage or Extreme or something. Not Savage, Extreme. Savage is way too hard. But that's when it's like, the first trial that you fight the Rathalos, you kind of just go through it, kind of like every other thing you're going through while playing through Stormblood, when you're going into like a roulette or whatever. But the Extreme is actually the challenge where you gotta like be on your shit, you can't be fucking up, because it's gonna...
Well, I mean, if there's more than one tank, I'll just off-tank. But,
I think it's only,
I'm also not against main tanking.
I think it's 8-man.
Oh, yeah. If it's an 8-man, then I'm super good. I can main tank hard enough to be on my shit as the main tank. Or, if I'm not main tanking enough, I can be an off-tank and just do that.
Just hop on YouTube, see what's up.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it, but at the end of the day, I'll see what I need to see in the regular trial, which will take 10 minutes.
Right.
So,
as far as playing 5.5, I haven't. I was going to play the story yesterday, but we kind of just ran some roulettes. And I had to hop out to go to bed for work because it was already way too late because we played way too much Monster Hunter before even trying to hop on 14.
well, yeah. So, Chris, one of us.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
One of us.
Rise is 10 million times better than World in my opinion, just in playability. I feel like I jumped into Rise, or like playing World, I was like, all right, there's a lot of extra bullshit that I got to do before I even fight this monster. And then I'm dropping in Rise, and it's like, no bullshit, let's go. You go right here, 100 yards away, and you fighting the motherfucker. Let's go. That's it. Straight up.
Straight push, no cuts.
Let's go.
Throw them hands.
This is what I'm about. Let's go.
Come on,
Right.
to it.
It was like Chris got the game.
Pure gas.
And he was like, I don't know, maybe, whatever. And then by the time we finished playing yesterday, Chris was a hunter. Like, he's out here, like, looking into... He's like, should I get this armor or this armor? He's like, oh, yeah, I went and I got this sword because it has higher attack than the sword I'm currently using.
I mean, there was a certain point where I was like... Because Anton was like, I want to play 14 tonight. And I was like, I mean, I got to be at least in bed by 11 to get 6 hours of sleep. So we can either run some hunts or you can hop. It's up to you.
Right.
I'll run some more hunts.
I put the decision in Chris's hands. Yeah, I put the decision in Chris's hands, and Chris chose Monster Hunter over 14.
Wow. Yeah. Chris, and your Church of the Longsword, is that correct?
Yep. That shit's fire. He took me into the little buddy room, so I got the training, and I was like, oh, I've been playing this game wrong the entire time.
Right, yeah. Showed Chris the training.
That wire bug is just open. Yo. The thing I'll say about Longsword and Rise, it's more counter focused. Mm-hmm. So once you get that down, you're fucking in there.
Yeah, I'm gonna fall into YouTube rabbit holes like I've done 14, and I'm gonna be.
Fuck. Yeah, I was meaning to send you those longsword tutorials, so I still might do that right now.
Let's go.
Cool.
269.
Yep, RX. 269, RX. Those were the two that I was going to send you to start off with.
Now, but Rise is sick. I love the aesthetic. I love everything about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was helping us push Monster's shit in. One of his problems with World was we were just kind of carrying him, and he felt like he was more so just trying not to die. But no, Chris was in there fucking stab, slash.
I'm gonna fuck this. What's the Pookie or whatever the hell? What do we hate?
Oh, Kezu. We hate Kezu.
We hate Kezu. Long dick of...
Oh, Kezu?
The long dick of white dicks.
I guess this is Monster Hunter's Dick Chariot.
The Dick Chariot? Slick.
It kinda, but
it attacks in the same. That's how I imagine the Dick Chariot would move 3D.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we did all of that. I mean, while we're on the topic of Switch games, I kind of wanna. Well, actually, before I switch, everybody listening, check out the Squad Sessions podcast, available now on the Cheesy Controller and Rusty Rupees podcast feed. We got a whole nother podcast going.
We doubled
Monster Hunter content. We're recording episode 2 right after this. So
they're working hard.
Everybody go check that out. Yeah, we've been playing hours and hours. I'm like over the 85-hour mark now in Rise. All of us have been grinding sets and stuff. Our discussion on episode 2 is going to be a lot about like the end game and set building, and it's going to be a lot more in the minutia. I feel like episode 1 was really good, and we have amazing soundtrack music by Radic.
Oh my god, it's so fucking fire.
Our opening theme is hard.
You know, I'm just saying, like, none of our musical selections ever fucking miss.
They don't. But this one, I feel like this one, just because, like, I catch myself whistling that song every once in a while, that just his take on the song goes super hard.
Right.
But, yeah. Talking about Switch games, there was a Nintendo Indie World showcase today, and I won't go through everything that was covered. I mean, it was only 20 minutes, and I think...
That shit was fire.
Yeah, it was really fucking good, considering I woke up, saw one of the announcements, and just fucking flipped the fuck out. Because there's this little game series called OlliOlli that I thought would never happen again because the developer went on to do something else. Roll 7, like, they haven't talked about OlliOlli in a long time. It's been out on Switch, it's out on PlayStation. It's like a 2D, like, score-based arcade skateboarding game that uses the controls of Skate, like the Skate franchise, like the same like flicks of the stick and everything to do your tricks. And OlliOlli 1 and 2 were like a time and place. I played the shit out of both of those games, and I just have a special place in my heart for OlliOlli. I thought it was dead. I thought it was over. And then they came out and announced OlliOlli World, this morning during the Nintendo Indie Showcase, and it's coming to not just Switch, but PS4 and PS5, as well as Xbox platforms, but I'm going to keep it real with y'all, I'm not playing it on Xbox. I'm going to play it on Switch and PS5, but shit.
The way the good Lord intended.
It's like they took... I can't even think of like an apt comparison to how good this game looks. Because it's like branching paths. It's just... It's more... It's 3D. You have character customizations. You were just kind of the OlliOlli guy in the first two. Now you can customize your character.
They're giving you all the shit you didn't know you wanted.
Dude... I was like, I'll take whatever a new OlliOlli is, but for what this is, holy shit, man. I ate, man. and that's just off, like, this minute-long trailer.
Yeah.
Like, and then I saw it in the Indie World Showcase, and they gave a little bit more perspective, and it's like you're going to find the skate gods and all this stuff. Like, it's adding wall riding, it's adding... all this stuff that I didn't know I needed, but now I have. And whenever it comes out, they said 2021, like, even if it gets delayed, even if whatever. It's a small indie game, but it is rocketed up to my most anticipated game of 2021. And so, the other game I wanted to talk to, and Madrid, did you get to play the demo, or no?
Nah, fuck no.
And I mean, there's a demo.
But I'm excited to play this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks super cool. They had Aerial Knight.
So.
Yeah, so it's Aerial Knight's Never Yield, and it's this guy. It's developed.
That's the day one cop.
Huh?
It's the day one cop.
Yeah, it's definitely... The soundtrack looks amazing. The gameplay looks awesome. It's like a free running kind of like rhythm game, somewhat. But everything I've seen of the game and hearing the soundtrack, it seems like I followed the developer and the guy who did the soundtrack. I followed both of them on Twitter, and I'd highly recommend. Like, it's hard to portray what this game is on an primarily audio podcast. But if you watch the trailer for this game and you're not interested, like, I don't know, the streets have failed you on that one. Because it's a black developer, black producer working together to like make this fusion of music and gameplay, and like everybody
it's
knows
set in the post like a future Tokyo, cyberpunk, Detroit, like
it hits
that shit is just fire.
Everything they said about that game and everything they showed about that game hit today. And that was one of the things, like, I went into the showcase already seeing the tweets about OlliOlli World, but then I saw the trailer for this, and I'm like, yeah, this hits. And I mean, it was another one of those indie worlds where it's like, those two games stood out to me, but I'm sure all the games have a following. Like, you know? They did a Oxenfree 2 announcement at the end, which was... I know a lot of people really like Oxenfree. I know there were 2 new Annapurna games, and I've liked a lot of the things... What's up, Chris?
Isn't OlliOlli Oxenfree a thing?
Yeah, that is a thing, but I had not even connected that. So, OlliOlli's a thing, and Oxenfree's a thing. And I mean, you know, if OlliOlli Oxenfree is... the new game, it's the end game. It's the greatest crossover. You know? The Indie World Showcase is just a teaser for this expanded video game cinematic universe that we didn't even know we were taking part in. Damn. It's like Godzilla versus King Kong. We didn't know that Kong Skull Island and Godzilla King of Monsters were connected like that. Yet here we are. But
watch that movie, by the way. It's good.
What do you think?
I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah,
I feel like when they didn't deal with what they did when the kids weren't involved, and it was just
they tried so hard. I think they saw ahead of time that everybody was on Team Godzilla, and they were like, okay, we
Yeah.
got to make people
They just-
root for King Kong.
Yeah, you just add a little girl who loves King Kong, and then everybody's like, my girlfriend's over here like, I don't want Kong to get hurt. He's so
Right,
sweet.
and
that little
just
girl.
saying the
I'm just
same
like,
thing of like, no, Kong. And I'm
fuck
like,
Kong.
no, go Godzilla, beat this dude's
Kong
ass.
straight up just wants to
Fuck
live in the
Hollow
ocean
Earth.
and have peace. That's it.
Right, and he had to fuck up a good thing. They had this whole dome. It's like a Pokeball. Like, you have your ideal environment, and you're contained, and you're safe, and you can just go about living your daily life. But you gotta go fuck shit up. That's on you, bro.
That's true.
Damn, this is my weekend.
Right. I definitely love to have an environment just tailor built for me. Like, I'd be fine living in a simulation.
Mm-hmm.
And then he wanted
And
to
then
go
somebody's like,
back.
"Hey, bro,
like,
you gotta-
after a
you
certain
gotta-
part,
you
he's
gotta
like,
beat
yo,
somebody's ass real quick."
I lied. I can go back to this.
Like,
Like-
my bad. I feel like it was
Right.
I feel like it was the boat ride. After that boat
Yeah.
ride, I would want to go back too.
Right. He's like, sorry I was throwing trees at you guys' hollow dome. My bad on that one. It's a lizard out here that's gonna beat my ass.
Straight up. No, but it was good. I feel like once they were like, what dealt with the monsters. I mean, even like the relationship between the little girl and Kong was actually. I was like, man, this is actually kind of cute. Whatever. It was better than what 11 or the girl who plays 11 in Stranger Things and her friend with random security guards. The side story was. I didn't really care about that at all. They didn't really
sounds creepy.
invest me. Yeah. Out of context.
I'm obviously underage, but I love the security guard of this facility that I'm always at for some reason.
Paperboy, the actor who plays Paperboy in Atlanta can act. I will give that dude that much. Like, he kind of carried all of those segments of
Yeah.
the movie.
He's in this movie?
Yeah.
Yes. He's the security guard guy.
No, had no clue.
Yeah.
They didn't market him at all. They didn't advertise him at all.
All they advertised is Kong versus Godzilla, and that's all they needed to advertise.
Those
Like, he kind of carried the part.
No, they're showing those little kids, bro.
man, they don't need to show those little kids. That was annoying.
Right. They really could have switched out the little kid and all the marketing for Paperboy, and I would have been with it.
Literally, he could have just been there by himself because he figured it out all by himself, and that would have been way better.
Right. He knew the whole time. Just listen.
This is why we listen to
They
podcasts.
just really had to-
Samuel L. Jackson to this movie. Like Samuel L. Jackson was in Jurassic Park. It's like, hey, bro, I can control all of this, and I'm the only one who can. So y'all better listen to me and buckle your butts up.
That poor bastard. Samuel L. Jackson did not deserve to die in Jurassic Park.
Right. At least we've gotten over the trope of the black guy dying because he survived through the whole movie.
Spoilers.
And yeah, spoilers for Godzilla versus King Kong. The black guy lives. I'm sorry. Fucking movie ruined. But Madrid, Apex.
What's up?
I know you didn't get to play a whole lot of this, and I mean, like, a lot of this news
No,
is kind
the
of
servers were like shitting the bed last night.
yeah.
Damn, patch day.
But I mean, you got a lot of the
bad.
patch. Yeah, it was patch day for Apex and 14, and like PSN was like, "What the fuck?"
PSN was also shitting the bed.
Yo,
Yeah,
So there's that.
so
we eventually. I stayed on 14 and was dealing with the 14 issues, but I was in Discord because I was like, I need voice chat where people aren't just randomly getting kicked in the middle of a conversation.
yeah.
But I know you saw a lot, like you watched the trailer and you have been paying attention to the patch notes. What's going on with this new Apex event?
Monster Hunter?
Question mark?
Like, what? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I really didn't get a chance to play last night, but I think they drop you in, with the shield, and it slowly recharges when you're not taking damage. Like kind of how Octane's passive works, where he just heals over time.
That's cool.
Okay, so
But
I
shit
brought
was
up an
moving
article.
so bad that I didn't even get a chance to play.
So the Apex Legends Wargame event is live with 5 different rotating takeover events going on. So
Well, there you go.
the 5 different things are armor regen, which is gonna which was the mode you played, where they drop you in with armor, and like even if it gets cracked or damaged or anything, it'll regen over the course of time. They have one called Ultra Zones, which is going to be like the hottest drops. You drop and everything there is yellow or red or like at minimum purple. And so you're just dropping into extremely high tier loot and duking it out at the beginning of a match.
Ooh, that Spice Bomb. I'm here for that.
Yeah, they have auto banners, which is where you don't have to pick up your team's banners. Like if somebody gets downed and like knocked out, you just automatically have their banner. And since they've upped mobile respawn beacons and stuff like that, more people have more of a chance to get back into the fight. There's one called Killing Time that I haven't been able to see what's going on with that one yet. That one's a little less self-explanatory. And then there's one called Second Chance, where if you get killed, you automatically start dropping right back into the match. Without having people to have to get your banner, take it to a respawn beacon, respawn you. You just drop right back in.
Oh, that's cool.
So it's kind of like the Gulag in Call of Duty Warzone, but it's just kind of, you get a second chance. And of course, with all the Apex events, there's a host of cosmetics available. New skins, new
Oh my
gun
god,
skins.
that new Lifeline skin is fucking 10 out of 10.
Didn't they nerf Lifeline?
I don't think that patch is out yet. That was something they were talking about.
Okay.
I don't know for certain, but they're talking about removing her shield for her auto res. I'm like, come on!
What?
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? That shit's stupid. They're acting like the shield is fucking perfect and impenetrable. Like, yes, while it's true, you can't shoot through it or break it. You can.
It doesn't last that long.
It doesn't last long. One, you can walk through it. You can throw grenades over it and or under it.
Right, it's not that big.
You got options.
It's not that big. It doesn't last long. Like, I feel like it was fair.
Yeah,
And it's not like you could
extremely
move it.
fair.
It would just be a barrier, and like you're upping somebody, it'd be a barrier there, and it would give that person a chance not to immediately get knocked right back out.
So the thing I think they're trying to do, they said they want to remove the low profile stat, which, you know, smaller characters with like slimmer hitboxes take more damage, but they move faster. They want to remove that, so I think they're going to try and make like Lifeline and Wraith worse again. So it balances out.
Yeah, because nobody wants Wraith buffs.
Right, but they also want to get rid of that passive trait.
All right, so Josh.
But nerfing Lifeline's anti-black, so respawn. You don't want to be anti-black, do you?
Josh, since you're back on PlayStation, you have access to the cheesy party. Like, you could join the party at any point. But you trying to play some Apex with us? Like, I know
Apex, Apex is one of those games that I tried that I just couldn't. It's weird because I got into Fortnite for like one night. Like me and my nephew played Fortnite for a couple hours, and I could get into Fortnite like for some reason. I could get into like the entire battle royale concept. I got it, and I finally got it. I played it for like a little bit, and then my nephew showed me how to play, so I can play it. And I actually got what's the last person to survive?
Victory Royale.
Yeah. I got one of those. Like, oh shit, what a fucking rush. And then I might since I was finally able to get into that, I might give it another shot because I remember I was just really not into Apex. Like it's just
Right.
But
But
the Battle Royale style
you
was just-
felt Titanfall, right?
Yeah, Titanfall was cool. I like
Yeah.
Titanfall.
So yeah, I'd say give it a chance. Maybe not necessarily with me because I'm still like hit or miss with like my consistency, like my level of consistency of play. But like Z plays it all the time. Like maybe give it a chance with Z in Madrid and like try and roll with like that group. Like I mean it's free. Yeah. No barrier to like you getting in.
I'll try it out.
Feeling
like, I
it
just
out.
know, like if I'm in a group, I'm gonna be dead weight because like it's like I realized like shooters just may not be for me. Like so some people can play shooters, some people can't play shooters. I can accept that I'm not the best at shooters, but I'll give it another shot. I'd be willing to give it another shot. Since I was able to get into the general battle royale style to the point where I can play it, I can pull it up. I can give it one more shot with Apex.
Yeah, and I feel like Fortnite and Apex kind of have the similar game speed to them. Like Fortnite, you have a little bit more survivability as far as like from the second you start getting shot to the second you die. Yeah. Like I feel like Fortnite has a little bit longer survivability, but like the pace of you running into people and like having to actually fight people and have to deal with engagements, that speed is similar between Fortnite and Apex. Whereas like stuff like Call of Duty Warzone or PUBG. Like PUBG, I feel like I pretty much am never like there is significant chunks of time between fights, and like Call of Duty, your time to kill is just like I just don't see somebody for like 2 seconds, and I'm just dead and out the fucking game. So
yeah,
I feel like those are less welcoming.
I know that aspect of it, and not being able to automatically regenerate, like you just out of the game, you got to join another lobby. I think that aspect of it just got it got frustrating when you're not. I guess like when I first started playing like Apex, I was just like, man, I keep dying, but like I had to join a whole nother lobby, pick a whole other rollout. It was just like I don't know if this is for me, but I feel like I can give it another shot if
yeah, it's better with a team because they'll be there to like if I'm running a lifeline, I can res you and then I can heal you. You know what I'm saying? Or if you just get killed, like your teammate can come scoop your banner or some shit, and then boom, you're back in the game. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get you some guns, we're gonna get you some armor, and we're gonna get you some revenge. You know what I'm saying? We're out here. We're on a mission. We're blood hunter. Like we are out here. You feel me? All Father is gonna fucking find you.
I feel that.
Or we get clapped too and we laugh about it.
Yeah, that's
or
the
you
other
just shoot
thing.
The shit
like,
for a couple hours too.
Yeah, we'll play games and like not even finish in the top 10 and just play for hours and hours and hours and just shoot the shit while shooting other people. Like Madrid will drop in like once every 5 matches. Just I'm throwing fuck this shit. Like I'm gonna get the kills I can get and get out.
I need payment in blood.
We're gonna fist fight, and then I'm gonna grab a gun.
So yeah, the other 2 stories I have, PS5 got its first major firmware update.
So what's in that? How does it feel?
They updated the game base so it's less of a shit show. So the little like tab at the bottom that brings up what it brings up now, it brings up one tab that's parties and one tab that's your online friends and what they're playing, which in like alphabetical order. Like before, to get to your friends list, you'd have to like go a couple menus deep, and then it'd be like, oh yeah, these people are online, but it's in no alphabetical order whatsoever. So like, if I knew somebody was online and they were playing something that I wanted to play with them, it'd be several steps to getting to playing that thing with that person. Whereas now, they kind of cleaned that up a bit. The other thing I've noticed is a lot of the stuff seems to be on the app side of things. They updated the PlayStation app as well, and so now you can add stuff to your wish list. It's kind of more full function, like the app. I mean, it's way better than it was during the PS4 generation. Like, just offer it, but the app now when I have friend notifications and I'm online on my system, it'll give me those friend notifications on my phone. One of the features that I don't think I'm going to use anytime soon because I don't have a data cap and my internet's fast enough is you can store PS5 games on an external. You can't play them there, but like you can download the game, have it on your PS5, put it on your external, let it like be there, and so you don't. If you know you're not going to play it, put it over to your external, and then when you want to play it, bring it back over to your internal and have it run off the SSD.
That's kind of
But
cool.
I mean, yeah, and I mean that's good for people with data caps, and it's like if you don't have the download speed that I have of like a gigabit per minute, like yeah, I could totally see that being useful. But for me, if I'm not playing something on my PS5, I delete it. If I feel like playing something on my PS5, I download it and call it a day. So it's not really the most.
I mean, it could be a convenience thing of like, you already have it downloaded to this external, so you're just moving it over instead of downloading something that might have an update. And so it might take a little bit longer than, like, because, yeah, having like a gigabit of internet, it's really fast. Like, downloading shit is nothing at all, but it's like, the convenience of just moving it over from one space that's already connected to your PS5 to another is like a matter of seconds.
Well,
I mean,
and I mean I haven't tested this, but moving PS4 games from my external to my internal,
is it
like when I moved 14 and like Apex and certain things, like a while ago I deleted. I can't even remember what game I deleted, but it was a big game off my PS5, and so I had space that some of these PS4 games that I was playing. No, Cyberpunk has never been on my internal.
Oh.
No. I think it might have been Demon Souls that I deleted. But it was something big that I deleted off my internal, and I had some of these games on my external, and I was like, okay, so now I have space to move them to my internal so that they'll load faster. And the process of moving just PS4 games from my external, where they're playable, to my internal, where they also would have been playable, took longer than it would have taken to delete the game and re-download it.
That's
just with the internet speeds I'm working with.
Damn.
I don't know if the PS5 version's faster because they like compress it and just kind of like move a zip file or what they do. And I haven't gotten a chance to test it, but
it's also still running USB like
3.0, yeah. But USB-A, not USB-C.
Yeah. I mean, I guess until a point where until they do USB-C, I could see why you would logically just re-download something instead of just moving it over.
Yeah, but I mean, if you have slow internet and you're not, like, because I'm hardwired in, I'm getting a gig down and a gig up per second. Like,
oh yeah,
I know I'm not in the average use case.
Yeah.
So
I forgot you're hardwired in.
Yeah. So it's just for me, because I moved. I think it was Persona 5 Strikers, and like Final Fantasy 14, and like something else small that I moved, and the process took so long that I was like, I should have just deleted all of these, disconnected my external, and re-downloaded them to my internal.
That's ridiculous.
And the last story I want to talk about, and I know that none of us have gotten a chance to play this game, but other games in the series I know I've really liked, and all of us probably have access to it with having Nintendo Switch Online, is Pacman 99.
Huh.
Yeah, so they killed Mario 35 in March. They're doing another Tetris 99 style game, but this time they're working with Bandai Namco, and they're doing a 99-player Pac-Man Battle Royale.
Do other players that you're playing against in this 99 Battle Royale fuck you up a little bit while you're playing Pac-Man? Like,
yeah,
as they're winning?
It's like Tetris 99. The same, like, So if you eat a power pellet and eat a bunch of ghosts, you send those ghosts to somebody else's screen.
Man, see,
Oh boy.
that's so like Pac-Man's so toxic already with their 5
Man,
ghosts.
I
don't
I'd
need
see
more.
about- I'd see about that. Because I was slick nice at Pac-Man. Because I played Pacman World for PS2.
Mm-hmm.
I had that game, beat it like multiple times. Like I played every version of Pac-Man. I had to try because like it came with like all the arcade versions of Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Like I had you can play the full game and then you can play like the arcade versions of Pac-Man. I fucked with Pac-Man extra heavy. Like I was like if there's one old school arcade game that I played other than Galaga, it would have to be
I would love a Galaga 99
Pac-Man.
if that could ever be a thing.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
what,
could be
Galaga
a thing.
99?
Galaga 99.
With these, yeah, Galaga 90.
I think that
so
would be the one. I would be like, all right, let me go.
That'd be the one.
this
That'd be the
lineage of them taking retro games, making them into these battle royale things, because they did it with Tetris 99, and it's like, okay, so you're just playing like Tetris versus mode against 99 people, and it like made sense. Then they did Mario 35, where you're playing Mario 1 against 35 other people, and you're sending, like, if you kill a Goomba on your screen, a Goomba shows up on their screen. If you kill Bowser on your screen, Bowser shows up on their screen. They could be in World 1-1, and then Bowser comes out of fucking nowhere, and so
That's
this
cool.
formula, like, Pac-Man, and, like, Pac-Man's doing the same thing, like,
I mean, it's just Puzzle Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, Capcom, give me a new Puzzle
let's
Fighter.
Let's get back to the basics, but make them fuck.
But yeah,
It's always a good option.
I think Galaga 99 has a real possibility. Like, we got to start the
feel
campaign
that.
here and now of, like,
Like if nobody said it before, you heard it here first.
yeah. I haven't heard it.
Per
Like, I've been
usual.
listening to podcasts and I've heard people talking about it, and like a lot of people share the sentiment with me of like Tetris 99 was probably the best implementation, but I could totally see a Galaga. Like, every time you kill an enemy ship, the enemy ship goes and onto another player's screen. Like, the amount, oh man.
Nuts. Yeah, that's yeah. That it would be that maybe Centipede.
Mm-hmm.
Centipede.
Oh, that would be
Centipede would
good.
be really nice. Centipede would be really
Ooh,
nice.
Snake would be really good.
Asteroid, man.
How would you do it with Snake?
As you're getting longer, you're taking away resources from other people's screens. So, like, as you're picking stuff up, so if you take too long to pick up something that's making you longer, like, somebody else could technically pick it up because they're doing it faster and more efficiently. You know, this concept of just, like, adding and removing these simple gameplay elements from these retro games and make it a competitive experience. Like, I'm with it. Now I really fucking just want Galaga 99. Like,
Yeah, Galaga, just the name itself, like
I mean,
Galaga
you gotta
99,
start-
it rolls off the tongue so nicely.
that's a podcast episode name
I
at
feel
this
like you
point.
gotta start with
Galaga
Pac-Man
99
99 just because Pac-Man is a name of itself, but Pac-Man.
Yeah,
Galaga's
if
a
you want to
name.
get a little bit obscure.
Nah, you
like
make it
Galaxian-
Namco 99,
Galaxian
and you
as well.
alternate between all the Namco classic arcade games.
Oh man, Robbie just said Dig Dug would be fun, and Dig Dug's like my personal favorite out of those. But yeah, Dig Dug 99 would be sick.
Adding
every
the
time you
99
blow
to
up a-
anything just makes it that much cooler.
Bomberman 99?
Isn't there already a Bomberman like battle royale thing?
Is there?
I've never played Bomberman.
I mean,
I played like a knockoff Bomberman on a.
I played
on
classic
some
Bomberman.
Flash
It's a good
site,
time.
and that
Yeah.
shit.
I'm just
I
gonna.
know there's Super Bomberman R, which was like the most recent one on Switch. I really feel like there was like a MMO style Bomberman 99. Okay, so there's Super Bomberman R online, which seems to at least give you some of the multiplayer elements in Bomberman. So, but yeah, Dig Dug would probably be. It'd be number one Galaga, because I already got Tetris, so it'd be number 1 Galaga, number 2 Dig Dug.
I'm about to just play my arcade when we get done with this.
Or, you could download Pacman 99 and give that a spin so we could talk about it next week on the podcast.
I could do that.
Speaking of things we're going to talk about next week on the podcast, Chris, neither of us got a chance to play the Resident Evil RE-verse beta. Dude, it's too much shit. We don't have it. There's not enough hours in the day.
What?
I'm not even mad at you on this.
I really do feel like I spent my time on better games than even just spending 1 second on what is probably just going to be bullshit.
Right, and I'm not going to go play it. Like, if you hit me up and it's like, oh, we're going to play it, I'll play it. But if you're not going to hit me up to play it, I'm not about to go play it. But tomorrow, as of recording, there is another Resident Evil showcase happening where they're going to talk about Resident Evil Village. They're going to talk about RE-verse and surprises.
I know.
So
this is
what are your predictions for this Resident Evil thing tomorrow?
It's just gonna be Resident Evil 4 remake.
You said that last time.
I know.
I've lost some of the faith.
What they did was they just locked down. They said what they said last time, and then got quiet. And then they said, "All right, we're gonna do this tomorrow." So I haven't seen any leaks or anything. Other than just like, it's Resident Evil 4 remake, which is fine. That's cool.
It's valid.
I guess.
I think we're going to get the, demo tomorrow, because last time they did the Maiden demo the same day, I think
they already did a date for the demo, and that's like in summertime.
Well,
it's
kind of a stretch calling April.
Also on PS4 and Xbox.
Yeah, next time the demo is going to actually represent what gameplay is going to be like and be available on all platforms. But I don't think they gave a date. And so I think tomorrow, the same way they dropped the Maiden demo out of nowhere the day of the last Resident Evil showcase, I think they're going to drop the Resident Evil 8 just straight up.
That'd be cool. I'll lose my shit.
Vertical slice of the game.
Can't wait.
You going to stream it, Chris?
Tomorrow? Yeah, let's do it. What time is it? I'm off tomorrow. It doesn't matter. I'll stream it. Let's go.
Fuck it. We can run it. It's whatever.
All right. Well, does anybody have one more thing before we wrap? Because we got to go do a squad sessions after this, and we've been going for about 1:15. So
poor bastard.
Been going strong. Go check out 3 Feet Set podcast. There's an episode out. Should be a new episode most places. If not, go listen to it on SoundCloud. It is definitely a new episode there. Then there's another one
on the
dropping soon. And then we're recording another one tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. Check that out. Very open, honest, straightforward episode. Also very funny from what I remember.
All right.
And what I've heard.
And Robbie asked about the Sony stuff, and I guess I won't go too long on this, but
why the fuck are they remaking The Last of Us?
That's not even the biggest problem, because I'd take a remake of The Last of Us. Like, it definitely
some
sell.
Shit last night that I was like, I don't know if he's. I mean, if you say what you said yesterday, because
right. So Sony has kind of shifted their focus to these AAA big budget games that aren't going to sell under like 10 million copies in the first day. Like, Sony has gone, they're basically the publisher of The Last of Us, Spider-Man, Horizon Zero Dawn, like even other big games that they would have taken chances on before. Like, their best-selling game the year it came out was Days Gone, and they have told the studio that worked on Days Gone that they can't make a Days Gone 2 because they don't think it would sell as much as a Last of Us or an Uncharted. And so Sony seems to be, first of all, I got a PS5 day one. outside of third-party stuff, there has not been anything on the PS5 that has justified the purchase of the PS5. Like, I do appreciate my Final Fantasy XIV update. I do appreciate my Yakuza Like a Dragon update. Doom Eternal's coming soon. Ghost Runner is coming soon. Like, I have a lot of these third-party games that are getting next-gen enhancements that are like, yeah, these games justify having a PS5. Like, the faster UI, but as far as Demon Souls isn't really my cup of tea. Miles Morales is going to be on both. The next Horizon is going to be on both. Like, all of these games, even the next God of War is looking like it's going to be on PS4 as well as PS5. So Sony's really just out here slowing up the progress. They closed down Japan Studio, which fucking... Like, Japan Studio has put out some of my favorite... Like, they've worked on some of my favorite games over the last 2.5 generations. Like,
that's just so weird. Like, Sony shutting down Japan Studio.
Yeah, because they've shifted. Like, the headquarters of Sony now is in North America, and it's being run by Jim Ryan, who is not a gamer. Like, you can tell by every time Jim Ryan says anything to anybody that Jim Ryan doesn't fucking play video games.
He doesn't even game.
He doesn't. Like, Mark Cerny, like, Shuhei Yoshida, like, all these other executives that, Kaz Hirai, all these other executives that PlayStation has had, at least have, like, Gio Corsi, like, they have gamer chops. They worked on games. They play games. Like, you go on their Twitter accounts, and they're talking about what platinums they're working towards, or, like, playing this new, like, blockbuster game early. Jim Ryan doesn't do any of that shit.
Right.
Jim
They're
Ryan
not new
is
to
a
this
fucking
shit. They're true
suit.
to this shit.
Jim Ryan is just a guy who's like, I can run a business, and he's treating PlayStation... And I know at the end of the day, all of these companies are businesses, but like the things that PlayStation has done that has made me a Sony fanboy over the last several generations has been the stuff that like their creatives make, like the art that goes into games, like the fact that there are people who were programmers who know like that this game is technically impressive, so like they're going to give developers more time to work on something more technically impressive that'll help the game sell over a longer lifespan. It seems like they're not trying to do any of that anymore. And it, like, Sony, right now, if somebody's asking me, should I get a PS5 or Xbox Series X, unless you're like me and you have hundreds of games digitally on PlayStation, you probably should get an Xbox. Like... You get Game Pass, Sony has no competition of that. Josh, even somebody like you like Fallout and you like Bethesda games and like Rockstar games and like all of these third parties. Red Dead's on Game Pass, but Microsoft bought Bethesda. The next Fallout is going to be exclusive to Xbox. Like all of these things.
You should play Outer Worlds.
Oh yeah, Outer Worlds is multi-platform, but Microsoft owns the developer of that. That's like a more modern Fallout. It's like a shorter but more focused modern Fallout.
I wouldn't necessarily say more focused. It's good. The writing isn't as snappy as a New Vegas though. It's fun. It's a good time. I like it. But I will say the writing isn't as snappy as like a New Vegas, and it's not as introspective or deep as their Knights of the Old Republic, Coder 2.
If you have an Xbox, you can play New Vegas in its best incarnation for free. Like, all of the previous Bethesda titles are on Game Pass. So, like, you could load in, and they're doing stuff like Auto HDR, FPS boost, where the developers don't have to go in and tweak these games. Just running them on the Xbox makes them run better. And so, like, even Fallout 4.
So somehow, long run, Xbox is really doing it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, in the background, last generation, Xbox lost, and they sat back, they're like, all right, we're going to do backwards compatibility, we're going to do Game Pass, we're going to do all of these things to make our system the better system overall in the long run, and then transitioning into this generation, sure, the PS5 can play PS4 games. Like, it can play pretty much every PS4 game on the PS5, no problem. But the Xbox Series X can play every Xbox One game, a good majority of Xbox 360 games, and a big chunk of original Xbox games. Like, I can take my Halo...
and the quality is just there as well.
Yeah, like, so Skate 3 was an Xbox 360 game. If I were to put my Skate 3 disc that I've had since college on Xbox 360 into an Xbox Series X, it would run it in 4K at a higher frame rate, better load times, like...
Because I still get 360 games.
Away,
but they still...
Yeah, like, I have 360 games. I have original Xbox games. Like,
so, if I gotta jump next gen, right now, I'd be better off getting an Xbox.
Honestly, like, unless you really just care about your trophies like that, or unless you, like... I can't justify, like, was able to justify a PS5 for myself because I am who I am. But outside of that, like, especially people, if somebody were to just come up to me and say, hey, I like racing games, I like open world games, I like just pretty much any genre except for third person action adventure, like big budget, like the Sony games, the games we think of when we think PlayStation. Unless somebody's like super tied to Uncharted or super tied to like the Spider-Man things, and I mean even Spider-Man, like if you really like Spider-Man, you can play Miles Morales on PS4. So like you don't need a PS5 to play that game. Like, it's only certain very specific use cases that I'm like, if you're going to get a next-gen system, get a PS5. But with the Xbox, if you get an Xbox and you get Game Pass, it's hundreds of fucking games. It was like when I gave you my primary on PlayStation, Josh, where you just had, like, this huge library and just access to it. For $15 a month, you can get that on Xbox, and you can stream the games to your phone, and you can fucking... Like,
if you ever got a PC,
it's just,
you can do it.
Yeah, it's if you're because I mean Game Pass. So Game Pass is so good that even if you don't have an Xbox, you can do Xbox cloud streaming on Android phones. It's coming to iOS at some point and PC at some point. But if you had an Android phone, you hook up a controller to it, and you can just play hundreds of Xbox games on a fucking Android phone. It's like the Netflix of games. And tough. PlayStation doesn't have that. They don't have anything remotely close to that. Like, sure, their PlayStation Plus offerings are stronger than Xbox games with gold, but at the end of the day...
the amount of games that you can play anyway.
Right, and then it's like day one... so you're getting all the Microsoft games day one for free. So, like, when the new Halo drops, it's going to be on Game Pass day one. The last two Gears, as soon as they drop, day one. Microsoft Flight Simulator, day one. Like, all of these things. And then they're going out to third parties like Square Enix. So Outriders, day one on Game Pass. If you want to play Outriders, you can pay for it on PC. You can pay for it on PlayStation. Or you can just go download it on Xbox. And that's, like, right now is, like, one of the hottest games. Because there's not a lot coming out right now. But if you're on Xbox, just... And they have EA Play. So if you play Madden every year, fucking Madden for free right there all the time. Like, and they went and they signed a deal with the MLB. And so MLB The Show has been a PlayStation exclusive franchise up until this year. PlayStation develops it internally and then has been, up until now, publishing it just on PlayStation. But the MLB said, if you guys keep doing that, we're going to take the license and give it to somebody else. And because it sells so well, PlayStation's like, all right, we'll publish it on Xbox. And then Xbox is like, oh, we're getting this game. We're going to go to the MLB and give them a chunk of change so this game comes out day one on Xbox for free. So you can either be on PS5 and pay $70 for this game day one, or you could be on Xbox and get this PlayStation, like this game with PlayStation history, for free day one. Like, Xbox is out here and like
Street sunning motherfuckers. Like, it's like, yo.
And then
yeah,
like
I got your kid, you know what I'm saying, for free. You know what I'm saying?
right, and that's the thing. So like Robbie brought up Kojima, his last game, Death Stranding, came out on PlayStation, like did what it did. I enjoyed it. It's mixed feelings. Like, you feel how you feel about Death Stranding as a game, but everybody knows Kojima is an auteur in the game space. Like, you don't get a lot of other game developers that have a name like Kojima. And Xbox is out here right now working on a deal to get Kojima's next game to come to Game Pass day one.
They working the numbers.
They're making money moves.
They know how to work the numbers.
Like, that's the thing. They bought Bethesda for $8.5 billion and then made back. Microsoft makes money so much that before they even got Bethesda, made back that $8.5 billion in the next quarter of just sheer profit. Before they even got what they spent that $8.5 billion on. Like,
Microsoft's just a beast, man.
Yeah, Microsoft is out here fucking kicking ass and taking names.
It's a dangerous place to be. That's a dangerous.
And Sony's out here trying to compete, and like while Sony's doing some good things of like, yeah, we can play PS4 games, like.
Right. It's honestly, it's going to be a long console generation, and honestly, shit could be on its ass in the next 6 years. Like, it could be completely reversed. Or who knows, maybe they all just carve out their own little, like, niche. You know what I'm saying?
I think they need to do that. I also think that, like, PlayStation was just up on its pedestal last generation that it needed a kick in the teeth. Just to, like...
Right, that was the thing. Xbox was, like, the grimy underdog that, like, Xbox shit the bed at the beginning of the generation, got rid of all of the people that made those bad decisions, brought in a team of people who are gamers first. The reason Cuphead's on PlayStation is because of Phil Spencer, who's an Xbox executive. He's like, I'm not trying to lock this game away from people who potentially play it on another platform. That's why Cuphead came to Switch. Cuphead came to PlayStation. That's why Ori and the Blind Forest.
That's still like, bread.
Yeah, at the end of the day, he's like, look, people can play it on Xbox for free, or they can pay to play it somewhere else. Like, we don't want to hold the game back because we're still going to get paid.
Right.
But PlayStation still, at the end of the day, is trying to hold shit back to just their platform. And I mean, like, Xbox has built up, and I mean, we still haven't seen the fruits. They bought all these developers. They have a bigger first party now than Sony or Nintendo. Like, they are in a position of, yeah, because they bought everybody. They didn't just buy Bethesda Game Studios. They bought ZeniMax Media, which has Tango Gameworks. So the next Evil Within is going to be on Xbox Game Pass day one. The next game from Arcane Studios is going to be on Game Pass day one. Like, all of these, the next Wolfenstein game, like, all of these properties that were owned by Bethesda that people have an affinity for, like, these games sold well on all platforms, like, they still have the possibility of coming to all platforms, but at the end of the day, if you're an Xbox gamer, you're coming out on top because you don't have to pay $60 for all of these games as they come, or $70 because now next-gen games are starting to cost $70. You just fucking pay your $15 a month and get, like, games. And then there's like all the so it's first party, third party, and then like indie shit like After Party. When everybody was playing that, After Party was day one Xbox exclusive, or not Xbox exclusive, it was on Game Pass day one, so you could just hop in and play that game. Forza, like, I like simulation racing games.
It sounds like they really are laying the groundwork of like, okay, you can really pay $60 a game, or you can give us $15. That's a lot of people that's just like, hey man, all I got is 15 instead of like 320 because I gotta buy like, you know, a whole bunch, you know, I gotta buy a bunch of different $60 games, or I can pay 15 and I can play them all.
Exactly.
This laying the ground. It really is laying the groundwork. So like in the couple, it might catch on.
Well, that was the thing. They started laying this groundwork towards the end of the Xbox One, but like the thing is, the Xbox One just wasn't really moving the needle. But now that it's a clean break and we're in the next generation, like, this is the opportunity they needed. That, like, all of these things that they've been working on this shit for years. Like, it's like death by 1,000 cuts, but they started cutting them halfway through last generation. So, like, now we're getting to the point that PlayStation's bleeding out, and, like, I'm a fan of PlayStation. At the end of the day, like, I got my PSP, like, I was a Nintendo fanboy, and then I got my PSP, and it opened me up to, like, all these new experiences, opened me up to entirely different genres of games I wouldn't have played. It, like, PlayStation, like, it's still my console of choice, but if last generation, if somebody came to me and asked what system should I get, the answer would have been PS4, because there wasn't really a reason to go Xbox. Like, the PS4 out the gate was more powerful than the Xbox. The PS4 was cheaper than the Xbox. The PS4 had better exclusives. But now we're getting to the point. And, I mean, Xbox isn't focusing on exclusives. Xbox is like, hey, we have these games that we own. And if you're on our platform, you can play basically for free. Or we'll sell it to you if you want to play it somewhere else. And, I mean... Like, we still have the argument that they don't...
Solid concept.
Xbox just like, yo, just fuck with me.
Right. Like,
Just
either way, you can play wherever you want to play this game that we're going to make. But...
Really?
If you want to play this game for on the low, just get an Xbox.
Right, and so we were talking about Yakuza. Yakuza 0 and 1 through 6 are just on Game Pass. So if you wanted to hop into Yakuza for fucking free and just like... There's so many people who are playing so many different things and just have access to all these games that they wouldn't have had access to if you had any barrier to entry. Like, if you had to even pay $5. Like, I'm not sure they're all still there, but they had, like... Final Fantasy VII, the PS1 version, was on Xbox Game Pass. What? Final Fantasy X, like, all of these games that it's like, oh, it's like $10 on PlayStation, but that $10 is getting you access to Final Fantasy VII, and Final Fantasy X, and Final Fantasy XII, and Kingdom Hearts 1 through 3, and, like, all... Like...
When are they going to get 14, though?
14 is still only on PC and PlayStation, so... You know, we got that, but the way they've been spending money with Square Enix lately, you know, Xbox, I would not be surprised if Xbox went to, because I mean, Phantasy Star Online 2 was a Japan exclusive game for the longest, and Xbox went to Sega with a fat ass sack of cash and said, hey, put it on Xbox in the West. And they fucking did it. So if they go to Square Enix with a fat ass sack of cash and say, "Hey, we want Final Fantasy XIV on the Xbox," they'll get it. Yep. Square Enix was at a loss. What was that, last year? Because they put out Final Fantasy VII Remake that did well, but then they put out Avengers that fucking
Avengers was gonna fail. They released the Avengers with expectations that it wasn't going to fulfill. Like, only 2 games have done what they expected the Avengers to do, which was Tetris and Grand Theft Auto 5. Like, and you're expecting that to do as well as Tetris and Grand Theft Auto 5?
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like, Square Enix is in a financial position that right now, even if they go to them with $1 billion and say, hey, we want Final Fantasy XIV, Square Enix is going to take that fucking $1 billion and give them that goddamn game.
That's true. They bought a bag because they need it. Apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, damn.
Yeah. I mean, if you got money to blow, then blow it. But also, since we're talking about
has
Square,
the money to blow and has been blowing it.
Apparently, Outriders is pretty fun.
Outriders seems good. It seems like,
besides the servers being a little, shit. It seems to be pretty cool. So, shouts out to that. If anybody's playing it, hit us up. Let us know how you're liking it.
Yeah. Zach texted me, friend of the podcast, Zach. He's like, "How many hours into Outriders are you?" And I was like, I don't have it. He's like, it said for some reason Steam said I was playing it, but then he realized it was just saying I was online because I'm on my computer. So, yeah. Zach, if you hear this, not playing Outriders. If I were to play it, I'd play it on PS5, but I'm not going to pay $60 to play Outriders. Like, I'm deep into Final Fantasy XIV. You lost another friend to the 14. And I mean, Monster Hunter. I put fucking 85 hours in the last 2 weeks.
Last 2 weeks?
Has it been 2 weeks or has it been 3 weeks? No, yeah, it's been about 2.5 weeks because we did the squad session.
Overtime. In 2 weeks, that's overtime in this one game.
See, he's on his job.
Yeah, I mean, we're going. I've said it right after this. We're going to do a squad session, and so that's even. I'm out here making content.
That's true.
If you're not making moves, you're standing still, and if you're not getting paid, you're getting played.
You're right.
So until next time, you can follow us all collectively around the internet, cheesycontrollerpodcast.com. You can follow me on Twitter and Twitch. I've been streaming again on Twitch. You guys know I'm intermittent with that, but I've been doing some Monster Hunter streams, and I might start back doing Final Fantasy XIV streams, even though Stormblood just talks way too fucking much.
Oh,
I might wait till I get to Shadowbringers. Like, let Shadowbringers, let everybody live through the hype of that with me.
Sorry, you just... right before you hit into the new world of Shadowbringers. Like, I want to see that on stream. I need to see that pure reaction because I want to feel that one more time.
Okay. One more time. Twitter, Twitch, Anton6 3X's. Chris, where can people find you?
Chef and Chris on Twitter.
Jalen.
Squid Bishop.
Madrid.
3-piece set pod, or you can find me at Speedwagon X.
Josh.
As always, I know Jones every place.
All right, this has been a Know It's Good production. The audio version is edited by Akumasanti. The video version is edited by Lana Twisted Mind. Until next time, keep it cheesy.